Hi there, I'm Justin Pritchard for Driving.ca, social isolating from here in Sudbury, Ontario, early May 2020. Hope you're well wherever you are. This is a video specifically about the Mercedes A220, and I'm going to give you 3 of my favorite and least favorite things about it based on a test drive from a little earlier in the year. Now, this might be Mercedes' most affordable model, but it does deliver a solid taste of the driving feel and the techy flair promised by the badge on the hood. And so if you're shopping in this pricing universe, I figure it's a car you'll probably want to check out, but I will share with you 3 of what I figure are the best things about it and 3 of the worst. So first and foremost on my list of favorite attributes is the interior. In terms of feeling like you're getting your money's worth out of the car, this is where I think the A220 really hits the hardest. Authentic materials, massive screens, and these are as bright and vivid as you'll find in a twice or 3 times the money Mercedes further up the model range. There's no shortage of finely detailed touches set off in gloss and aluminum, and the forward scenery is glossy and curvaceous and rich and highly animated. Now keep in mind that this car's shopper is used to a ton of screen time, and so those screens are a very important part of the visual identity of the cabin. And when you look more closely at them, what's really impressive is the resolution. The colors look crisp and sharp. These are some high-end looking displays, and that's perfect if you're someone who's comfortable with a lot of screen time. And elsewhere, authentic materials and no shortage of finely detailed touches set off in gloss and aluminum. Add in the signature Mercedes consoles for seat adjustments, climate control, and lighting, and you've got a great looking environment to spend time in with no shortage of notable high-end touches. So I'm going to put some footage up of the Mercedes E53 AMG Coupe, which is twice as much money, and show you the interior here. And as you look at this footage, keeping in mind in the A-Class some of the materials aren't quite as high-end, but much of the stuff is pretty much copy and pasted, and that's coming from a car that costs more than twice as much. Translation, on the interior of the A220, you can really expect to feel like you're getting your money's worth. Next up on my list of favorites is the After Dark Drive, and the ambient lighting system can be cranked up to just soak the interior in strategically deployed color-themed accent lighting that makes for a one-of-a-kind After Dark Drive. And to that ambient lighting, which is strategically placed to really punch up the interior's visuals at night, you've also got the vivid, high-resolution glow from the display screens ahead, and that gives you this air of sci-fi spacecraft helm to the forward scenery. Really, after dark, the way this cabin lights up around you is just something else. It's also worth noting the LED headlamps, which also add to the After Dark Drive. The color is pure and white, there are no dull yellow hues to be seen, reach is excellent, and the light is cast consistently across the road ahead with plenty of peripheral illumination into nearby tree lines and culverts on secondary highways too. And as any of my fellow Northern Ontarians will tell you, that is very important for early warning of wildlife that may be trying to cross the road up ahead. So top-notch performance from the LED lighting both inside and outside after dark. And if you're treating yourself and making the A220 your first brand new car in many, many years, you'll probably find these headlights to be a delightful improvement over whatever you were driving. Alright, so the interior, the After Dark Drive, those are 2 of what I figure are the 3 best parts about this car, but I think we'll switch over to my least favorite things right now, so that I can save the 3rd and personally my favorite thing about the A220 for the end, and then leave you with some footage to help illustrate it. So over to my least favorite attributes, and the first of these is the ergonomics. And simply for a cabin that's this carefully styled, I was surprised to find a variety of gripes in this particular area. First and foremost, the gear shifter. Now it's a stock that sits where most cars keep their wiper controls, and you operate it by using your right-hand middle finger without even taking your hand off the wheel. The thing is that if you're used to wiper controls being there, you may accidentally be tempted to shift your new Benz into park or reverse when squirting your windshield on the 401. I'm told a computer lockout would prevent mechanical catastrophe, though I didn't try to make sure. So at times, having the gear shifter where the wiper stock should be made me a little nervous, but many Mercedes owners tell me that you just get used to it. Still, after a week, I had not. Also, the heated steering wheel switch is on the steering wheel column, but blocked from view by the steering wheel itself. And that steering wheel also makes it impossible to see the climate-controlled temperature display without having to move your head over too. My second least favorite thing about the A220 is the transmission. It's a dual clutch transmission, or DCT, and if you're unfamiliar, that works just like a regular automatic with no clutch pedal, though the mechanicals inside of the gearbox are of a specialized design that's often used to improve performance, mileage, and the like. So in many cases, this type of transmission can feel a little unusual compared to a conventional automatic, even if they ultimately do the exact same thing. So in the case of the A220, I did find the need frequently to be cautious in how I applied the throttle to start the car off. At times, getting it rolling out smoothly requires carefully dipping into the throttle to avoid a bit of a jolt off the line. So in stop-and-go traffic, the transmission can require a little more of your brain power to work smoothly. And in other situations, like slowly creeping through a drive-thru, this transmission can emit the odd shudder or take a moment of the engine revving before the internal clutches engage and the vehicle starts moving. So that's standard stuff for this type of transmission, but the point is that you've got some smoother choices in the driveline department if you do a lot of stop-and-go driving. However, sportier drivers are going to be okay with those compromises because this transmission performs best when it's being worked hard. And third on my list of least favorite things is not really a favorite thing at all, it's just something to be aware of. So given its relatively compact size and 188 horsepower, you do have more powerful and roomier choices for the money. The 2-liter turbo engine is smooth, it feels like a high-end piece, it never sounds overworked, and performance is surprisingly spirited in around town driving, though some will wish for some more sauce for highway passing and merging. So if all-out firepower is what you're shopping for, this is probably not what you're after. And on space, well, 4 average-size adults should find sufficient room, and at 5'10" and 200 pounds, I did find it comfy snug to sit behind myself. Some occupants might wish for a higher seating position, so when you're test driving, just make sure that you and your favorite passengers have enough space on board before you buy, and remember that many a more spacious vehicle can be had for the dollar. Alright, so finally, my favorite feature on the A220, and that's based on driving it in the conditions that you've been seeing me drive it in here. And this may not be a favorite for everybody, but I think the wintertime driving manners left the strongest impression. Of course, most all-wheel drive cars today have an excellent all-wheel drive system, and this one is no exception. From the driver's seat, you can expect immediate all-wheel bite, even in deep snow. There's no single axle wheel spin required before full traction arrives. So from the first inch of movement, all 4 wheels are powered, and the A220 skedaddles in some kind of hurry. The off-the-line bite with winter tires is strong and pleasing, and the all-wheel drive system and stability aids do a nice job of picking up on the driver's vibe, locking things down for careful driving in a snowstorm, or allowing you to slide around surprisingly well if you're a bit ginger with the throttle and steering inputs. So mostly it's all set up to make sure the car is going right where you point it with confidence to spare, but with sportier driving modes engaged and your boot down a little, it's actually quite a bit of fun and has no trouble getting plenty of power to those rear wheels. Well, there you have it. That's all I've got for this video. I will leave you with some of my favorite slow motion shots that really show that 4MATIC all-wheel drive system in action. Until next time, take care and drive safe. Don't forget to leave a like if you found this video entertaining or useful, and consider subscribing so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching.